you've been posting content regularly, but you're still not attracting high-paying clients, you might be focusing on the wrong types of content. Today, I'm breaking down 8 different content ideas that attract the right people that really want to work with you without having to post more. Because the problem is you're not posting enough. It's just that you might not be posting about the right things. Hi, I'm Allison Carpio, founder of Morning Hour Co., and I'm a copywriter and content strategist, and I help brands like you create high-converting content that really expands your impact and levels up your thought leadership. On this channel, I share strategies that help you simplify your content, attract aligned clients, and build your authority without burning out. So if that sounds like what you need, make sure to hit that subscribe button. In today's video, I'm sharing those 8 powerful content ideas that not only boost your thought leadership, but also position you as one of the go-to experts in your industry. Before we dive in, let's talk about 2 common mistakes that you might be making that's stopping your content from working. Mistake number 1 is focusing more on the engagement, not the conversions. Remember, those vanity metrics, likes, comments, views, impressions, followers, they're not the only thing that matter here. As a brand, your goal isn't necessarily to go viral. It's to create content that really speaks directly to your customer, to really connect with them, to resonate, to inspire action. And when your goal is to create content that inspires action, that means that you're creating content with the goal of driving those conversions, which is what we're going to get into today. Mistake number 2 is kind of posting randomly without a real strategic plan. If you're posting just whatever kind of comes to mind to you or when you're feeling inspired, your content is likely scattered and inconsistent. You don't have cohesive messaging that really resonates with the people that you're trying to attract. So before I get into content ideas, I want to know, do you plan your content in advance or does the inspiration come to you? Because it's not always a bad thing, but it's when it scatters when it's a bad thing. So either way, I want to hear no judgment because I do a little bit of both. Okay, let's get into those 8 high converting content ideas. Number 1 is behind the scenes, that BTS content. This is where you show people what your process is. You give people a peek into how you work. If you've ever watched the series on Netflix, Chef's Table, it's one of my favorite places ever. It really goes into the backstory of the chef, how they source the ingredients, what was the inspiration behind the recipe, how they marinate something differently, or how like every single step of the process, you could see how much thought and care and how meticulous they are at putting things together. And what that does, that makes you really appreciate their craft and appreciate the food that they're creating. And it inspires you to want to go to the restaurant and drop $200, $300, $400, $500 on a meal. Easy. And the same thing with, and what is your process? How do you come up with ideas? How do you create? I'm pretty transparent about my copywriting process and how I come up with ideas and how I edit, how I outline, how I draft, all of that stuff. People like to see how I think, especially when I talk about analyzing performance. That sets me apart from a lot of other copywriters who are just creating things to be creative, but without really thinking about performance. And that's kind of like my differentiator there. So really showcasing that positions you as an expert, as a brilliant person, and someone who knows what they're doing. And it really establishes that trust in you. Number 2, common mistakes your audience makes. I do this all the time. If you notice in the beginning of this video, I kind of talked about those 2 common mistakes, and I talk about mistakes all the time. I didn't do this, not that when it comes to copywriting. That was a really highly engaged video. People want to know what they're doing wrong, and they also want to know what to do instead. So you don't want to just point out mistakes just for the sake of it. You also want to show like how to fix it or what to do instead. And people want to know why it's a mistake and why what you're proposing is a much better solution. Number 3, and probably one of the most important, is the success stories, the case studies. People want to see that the transformation that they are looking for is totally possible. And they want to see that in the form of proof of other people. I can make promises all the time, but when I showcase examples, that really builds the hope. And that is the goal here. We want to build hope that what they desire is achievable and it's been done before, especially someone in their situation. I like to mix up my success stories. I'll have success stories of like a client who had a very successful launch, or a client where we launched their website in like 4 weeks. So you'll kind of see different results there. Like one had a more monetary result. The other had a monetary result, but the bigger thing there was that there was that time efficiency and the swiftness of it while staying aligned with their brand. And then I'll have a client success story where I'll talk about one of my clients. She's a thought leadership coach, and she really needed clarity on her messaging. She was talking about thought leadership, but didn't really know like how to position herself. And we come to discover that she really loves working with our new leaders with a new team and have team conflict. So she could talk about team conflict all the time. There's so many stories that she can be telling, and that's going to appeal to the right people. And it also positions her as an expert in team conflict, which is a huge pain point that her audience is experiencing. That one was more about clarity than it was about like seeing a monetary result, which you need all of them because some people have different problems that they're experiencing. So you want to touch on every single one of those. Remember, you can't have too much proof. You can just have weak proof. So you really want to make it as real and vivid as possible. Number 4, educational content with a twist. Think about the how-tos, but I like to make this a little bit more unique because there's so many how-tos out there. Like, for example, I could create a video about how to create content that sells, but there's so many out there. So what I'll do is I'll add a unique twist to it. So how to create content that sells while still sounding authentically like you. How to create content that sells without having to post every day or without burning out. You see how that makes it a little more unique and more appealing to my people? My people don't want to be posting every single day, so I make sure to call that out and make that the differentiator when I'm speaking about that topic. Number 5, the opinion or the hot take. This is when you take conventional wisdom, something that's being said all the time, and you flip it on its head. So when I was talking about email marketing, I always talked about how you do not have to email every single day because that's something that all of the email experts are saying. They're like, you have to email every day. If you're not emailing every day, you're leaving money on the table. But that's not really true. And the reason why is because if you're setting up email workflows and automations, you don't have to rely on emailing every day because that's doing it for you. But also, if you're showing up in other channels as well, like Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, you don't have to just rely on email. Yes, email is a very important channel and I love it, but it should not be the only channel. And oftentimes when people say you should be emailing every day, it's because email is their only channel. So you want to diversify that a little bit. So you see how I had that hot take, but I coupled it with a why and also what to be doing instead. Don't just point out the problem, provide a solution too. Number 6, how I would do this differently. So this is kind of the double benefit. One, if you're just starting out and, you might not have a fully fleshed out portfolio. I did this when I was first starting out in copy. I took other people's websites and I kind of said, this is how I would write it if I were this brand, which really showcased my expertise. It's kind of like a behind the scenes where it's like showing my thought process, showing my expertise, but also it works if something is happening in the industry. So for example, if you are a leadership coach and there's a CEO who's in the spotlight right now for not great reasons, what you might do is say, hey, if I was the CEO, this is how I would have had conversations with the other leaders in my organization to deliver this news instead of what this CEO did. So really just showcasing your approach. Number 7, industry trends and insights. People want to stay on top of things, but they don't want to be going to different websites and just reading about it all the time. So that's where they come to you, the expert, who is on top of these things, who's got a finger on the pulse on all of these different trends. I created a video about the copywriting trends in 2025, and that was a huge hit because people just wanted to know what was trending in copywriting, what is old, why is it old, and what is currently in right now, and why is that a current trend, and what are some examples of that. So people want to hear your analysis. And then finally, signs you're ready for blank. This is a great way to prep people for your offer, but also oftentimes what I have found is that clients are probably ready for something. They just kind of need that extra nudge and that encouragement. So if you have those signs ready, if you really lay that out for them very clearly, that'll inspire them and again, build that hope, inspire them into action, which is what you really want. So there you have it, the 8 high converting content ideas. I hope that was helpful for you. Remember, content ideas are really great, but what you really want is a strategy. So if you're ready to transfer your content in a powerful tool that really attracts those premium, high paying clients, let's work together in my content glow up. In my content glow up, we'll work together and you'll walk away with clarity onto your brand messaging. You'll get a clear messaging framework that appeals to your ideal customer, including your brand story, your content pillars, and your positioning, so that every post, every piece of content, every asset you have aligns with your mission and your expertise. We'll create a strategic content plan for you. So instead of throwing out random posts here and there, you'll get a custom content roadmap that's designed to attract, engage, and convert clients that you love. And then we'll align your content with conversions. So we'll focus on high impact content strategies that drive real business results, not just those vanity metrics. We'll flesh out what your lead magnet is to grow your email list and to expand your audience. And then you'll get done for you content ideas. So you'll leave with 10 high converting content ideas that align with your message, with your mission, with the impact that you want to have. So you'll always know what to post. And then you'll have a content calendar mapped out for you. You can use it over and over and over. So this content strategy is just going to live for as long as your messaging is aligned with you. So say goodbye to second guessing or just posting randomly without a plan. What you get outside the content globe is a strategic, streamlined approach that turns your content into a client generating system. If that sounds exactly like what you need, I would love to work with you one-on-one. Go ahead and click the link below to apply. Let's chat about where you're at with your business, what your goals are, and see if we could work together. I would love to work with you, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.